All right, let's just get right into it. We have all been feeling this, right? At the grocery store, filling up the car, pretty much everywhere you look. Prices are just up. And it feels like our money just doesn't stretch as far as it used to. It's really the question on everyone's mind. Why is everything so expensive? And, why does it feel like once prices shoot up, they just never come back down? Well, it turns out there's a huge economic force behind all this. And honestly, understanding it is the key to understanding your own money. So, to make this super clear, let's just take something simple, like a burger. You go back to the year 2000, and a burger might have cost you, say, $2. Fast forward to today, that same burger is easily $6, maybe more. And look, this isn't just about burgers, obviously. It's happening with almost everything we buy, and there's a specific name for it. And that name is inflation. The basic idea is actually really simple. Prices for, well, everything tend to go up over time. But what that really means is that the value of your money, its purchasing power, is going down. So think about it like this. Back in 2000, your $2 could buy you a whole burger. Today, those same $2, they might only get you a third of one. The dollar is still a dollar, but what it can do for you has totally changed. Now, a great way to wrap your head around inflation is to look at its complete opposite, deflation. So with inflation, prices are rising, your money buys less. With deflation, prices are actually falling and your money buys more. Now, I know what you're thinking. Falling prices? That sounds like a dream come true. But it's not quite that simple. And this is where it gets really, really weird. You'd think the goal for a perfect economy would be zero inflation, right? Prices just stay the same forever. That makes sense. But that is not what economists and central banks are shooting for. They actually have a target, this little sweet spot they're trying to hit. And that magic number is 2%. Yeah, you heard me right. The most powerful financial groups in the world, like the Federal Reserve here in the US, do not want prices to stay the same. They are actively working to make things just a little bit more expensive every single year. So the entire system is designed for prices to slowly rise. And the big question is, why on earth would they do that? Well, it's all about creating something called a virtuous cycle. Here's how it works. When everyone kind of expects prices to creep up a little bit next year, it gives us a small push to, buy that new car or that fridge today before it gets more expensive. That spending means businesses are making more money so they can grow and hire more people. And more jobs mean more people have money in their pockets to spend, which creates more demand, and boom, the whole economic engine just keeps humming along. So you can think of that 2% target as a kind of buffer, a safety zone. Because what happens if we miss it, if we fall way below it or fly way above it? Well, that's when you get into some incredibly dangerous territory for the economy. Let's look at the two absolute nightmares. On one side, you have the deflationary spiral. Remember when falling prices sounded good? Well, imagine this. You think, I'll wait to buy that new TV. It'll be cheaper next month. But if everyone thinks that, businesses stop making money, they have to lay people off, and the entire economy just grinds to a halt. Then, on the other terrifying end of the spectrum, you have hyperinflation. This is where prices go crazy, shooting up so fast that your entire life savings could become basically worthless in a matter of weeks. Both are just total economic chaos. And this brings us to a really crucial point. Even though we all feel the pain of rising prices, for the people who manage the economy, it's that deflationary spiral that truly terrifies them. They see it as an economic black hole that is almost impossible to escape from. And that's exactly why they want that 2% inflation target. It's a safety cushion to keep us far away from that cliff edge. Okay, so if 2% is the target, who's actually in charge of steering the ship? Who's trying to keep us in that sweet spot? Well, it really boils down to two main players, the central banks and the government. And they each have a different toolbox to work with. The central banks, they use something called monetary policy. Their biggest, most powerful tool is the interest rate. When they raise rates, it gets more expensive for you to get a mortgage or a car loan, and for businesses to borrow and expand. That cools down spending and helps control inflation. Then you have the government, which uses fiscal policy. They can do things like cut taxes, which leaves more money in your pocket to spend. Or they can spend more on big projects, which pumps money directly into the economy. It's a constant balancing act between these two.
Okay, so that's the big picture of how the economy works. But let's bring this back down to earth. What does this all actually mean for you and the money in your bank account? If prices are literally designed to go up, how do you make sure you don't get left behind?
So here it is, probably the single most important takeaway for your own finances. In a system that's built for inflation, just holding onto cash means you are on a slowly sinking ship. If your money is just parked in a savings account earning next to nothing, that 2% inflation target is like a tiny invisible leak, constantly draining away your money's real power. You might not notice it from one day to the next, but believe me, over the years, you're losing ground.
And this shows you why it matters so much. Let's say 10 years ago, you had $1,000. If you stuck it in a savings account, today you'd have, a little over $1,100. But when you factor in inflation over that decade, the actual purchasing power of that money has almost certainly gone down. Gold did a bit better, but look at this. Investing in assets like the stock market has historically been one of the best ways to grow your money faster than inflation can eat away at it. The goal isn't just to save, it's to make your money grow faster than the cost of everything else.
So we started with a pretty simple question: why do prices keep going up? But the answer leads to a much more important, much more personal one. Knowing that our entire economy is built on this idea of slow, steady price increases, it's not supposed to be discouraging. It's supposed to be empowering. It changes the whole game from how do I deal with high prices to, okay, how do I build a financial strategy that wins in the long run? The system is designed for growth. The real question is, are you?